There's such a thing as a gay centaur. Today we're going to be looking at the mating manual and diving into the centaur entry at what the LGBTQ status is for the centaurs. And if you'd like to know more about the 12 pages worth of information about the centaur species, check out the bio and go ahead and grab a Ruby Gold sub or get an original character in the manual by grabbing a diamond. And for geographical context, you need to understand that most centaurs exist on the northern continent within the Chaos Plains and Elden Forest. And that centaurs almost exclusively exist within groves that you can find around the Chaos Plains and within the Elden Forest itself. And as we discussed in prior videos, and what we can see from the mangas themselves, such as my series The Devil's Deal, whereas in Chapter 6 we can see Marcy talking to Selma in regards to shamanic power, using it to heal animals, we get to see just a hint at how the church has been able to educate the folks of the Chaos Plains in regards to nature casters and fae. So historically, even though centaurs' human component is very sentient and educated just like a normal person, we need to understand that they have lived almost exclusively within a fae grove. And with that comes fae teachings. So they don't have the exact same standards that we in society would have as humans in mixed species societies. And I mean, even then, that's not really saying a lot, because in chapter 1, we can see that they are literally selling orc druid arms in street vendors because they don't view them as sentient creatures. So to the ultimate question, is there gay or LGBTQ centaurs? Well, centaurs treat LGBTQ rights much like they treat age of consent. Whoa, hold on, let me explain. Because centaur and fae life in general is very naturalistic, they base most of their morals on survival and comfortability. Survival comes first, plus comforts later. As the Faerun of the band that's being observed educated us on, you can tell the health of a herd or band of centaurs based on the age of consent. So when the herd is not healthy and they were low on numbers, they will actually go and demonize LGBTQ members because it doesn't promote getting women pregnant. However, in a herd like the one that we are actually following in the mating manual, where they are more than 10,000 strong, very secure in their place in the Fae Grove, they have not actually had persecution of LGBTQ rights in decades. In the fact, no centaur alive in the herd has really had discrimination as a policy level. And LGBTQ rights is just kind of status quo to the point that they don't even have representation identifiers for it because it is just such a natural part of the herd. If you want to be with a man, go ahead and be with a man. It's not like we need to repopulate anything. In fact, it's actively encouraged for centaurs to go out and experiment and kind of find out who they are and what they like. However, whenever we get to the T in LGBTQ, centaurs and fae typically don't acknowledge transgender. And the Faerun of the actual herd had this to say: transgender doesn't make sense. You are what you are. If you go to bed with a dick, you are a man. If you wake up with a woman part, you are a female. How you feel isn't important, but if you don't like your body, just go to the Great or Grand Fae and change it. A person with a dong calling themselves a woman, like me, is calling myself a centaur. So at first you may be thinking, wow, that's not really inclusive, but hold up. Think about what is actually being said here. In terms of fae, a fairy will evolve and have multiple opportunities to turn into something different. They don't identify as fae as they have evolved. They identify as what they are currently. So within centaur society, if a centaur man feels like they are a centaur woman, it is their obligation to go to whatever force there is, which is usually a grand or great fae, and say, hey, I feel like this. Can you make me this? And they'll go through whatever hoops that fae wants them to go through to get the transformation to be what they feel they are. So in fae terms, if you are a female centaur, but you feel like you are a male fairy, they don't care how you feel. Go speak to whoever you need to turn into a male fairy, and they will acknowledge you as a male fairy, regardless of what you were actually born as, because in fae terms, it matters what you are right now. And there have been centaurs who have went from male to female and female to male, and they don't face any discrimination because once they have transformed, they are that thing. And that is how the fae look at transgender. But the big drawback with getting the transformation is even centaurs will not acknowledge you as a centaur if you shift species. And same thing, if you for some reason want to be known as your previous sex or gender, they're not going to acknowledge that because that is the culture of centaurs. You are what you are. If you can change it, go ahead and change it. We don't care. We're not going to stop you. Unless the pride's not healthy, and then they might actually try to stop you. But what do you guys think of the Fae and Centaurs' take within the Chaos Planes on LGBTQ rights and the way that they handle it? But if you'd like to read the full 12 pages of the mating manual Centaur entry, go ahead and grab a ruby gold.